Good old Chevy Nova, man. It is getting very close. And it's not just, I want to believe it's getting close. It's actually legitimately getting close to being finished. Welcome everybody back to the ZHP Garage. Hope you guys are having a good day today. I'm not gonna talk too much because I want to get into the piece of paper here on the wall, because if you saw from the last video, we got the whole entire front of the car on and together. So we're gonna check that off of the list and gonna look at what we're gonna be doing in this video. So let's get with the list right now. So like I already said, we put the whole front of the car back together in the previous video. If you have not seen it, check it out right here. Should be right here. It's a good video. So we're gonna cross it off the list right here. Put the whole front of the car together, man. It is one huge step forward doing that. And we also have gotten the chance to lube the front end since everything's all tight. You know, the car's on the ground. We're able to tighten the front end and everything. So we got the whole front of the car lubed, and that's all good to go. And it's funny because now I'm realizing there's stuff still not on this list that we need to do. Like align the car isn't on this list, but I don't want to make a whole nother list just to add a couple things. So we're going to leave this list with the way it is. So what we're going to be working on in this video, we want to get the fuel tank and pump 100% installed and finished. That way we can think about running the brake lines, fuel lines. Well, brake line has to do with the rear end, but we can start thinking about running the fuel lines. We're probably going to work a little bit on the wiring, not 100% on that. And we want to get coolant in the car. So we're going to work on the radiator hose, the lower radiator hose. We're going to get coolant in the car, so we're ready to fire when we go to the dyno, and we're going to get the gas tank in the car. Maybe do a little bit of the wiring. So let's get started right now. See how this thing all turns out. Master mechanic is going to put in the work, and we're going to get this car that much closer.
What's going on, YouTube? Back here again. Another installment of the Nova. Good old Nova, man. It's coming along. It's getting there. Got some wiper blades now. Huh? Now we can drive it in the rain. Got almost a complete front end. Got the grill put in, a little filler panel, the bumpers, brand new bumper, new hardware, powder coated bumper brackets. The only thing we're waiting on the headlights to run the wires, so we can plug them in, because there's not enough room if you put them in there to plug the headlights in. So that's why the headlights aren't in here. Let's look underneath the hood. Check this out. Needs a little more lube on it still. Look at that, huh? Got our breather for our crankcase. Got a teed here, and then we have a PCV valve, so this is our fresh air coming in. We got our valve we're talking about that was gonna be out here. We got it moved inside, so we got that all hooked up. Pretty much the whole cooling system is done, other than the lower hose. That's what we're working on. That's what we're gonna do next. Gotta do the lower hose, and then we're gonna do a vacuum fill on this thing. We're gonna get it full of coolant, because when we take it up and get it to anti-theft, delete it and everything, actually get it to fire, once we go up to dyno it, we're not gonna have time to deal with air pockets and warming it up and all that nonsense. So we're gonna fill it, vacuum fill it, so it's full, so it's ready to go. Got the inner fenders bolted in, all good. Turned out nice, man, both sides. So now we can mount. We're gonna mount, after we get done with the lower hose, we're gonna mount the reservoir for the slave cylinder. Clutch is next. After we get the coolant filled, we're gonna get the reservoir. It's gonna be probably up in this area. I don't know if I have room for it back here. Probably be right in here somewhere. It's kind of funny how the brake lines turned out really good for making them without the inner fenders on it. All right, so like I said, we're gonna finish up the lower hose. So this is what I'm gonna use for the lower hose. So what I wanna do is, I marked it here. I'm gonna make a cut here. I left enough room for a hose clamp. So pretty much this is gonna go up to the radiator, and there'll be a piece of hose. So I can hose clamp it here, and then hose clamp it to the radiator, and then I gotta see what I'm gonna do. Hopefully I can cut this in the center, and maybe take this piece and add it here to get it high enough, but then reclock this, so then this will go to the radiator, this will be turned. And if I can raise it up, I think I can clock it, and then I'll be at the thermostat. And then I might have to shorten this, but that's the whole goal. So I'll cut it here, I'll get a better idea. We're gonna cut it now. So let's make some noise. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it where I have it marked. Nice and cleaned up. So I was hoping I can reclock this, turn it, and come in to the lower here, but it looks like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I need to bring it in more. If I bring it in more, then I'm gonna have a hard time clamping. So I think I'm gonna make it a little more manageable. So I'm gonna cut it in the center here so I can reclock it and see where I need to be. So now I'm gonna cut it middle of the radius, cut it in the center. So now we got a cut here. I think I'm gonna make a note on here. I'm just gonna make a little mark so I know it's the radiator side. Just put a little R on here so I know it goes to the radiator. We bought a lower hose that had some bends to it. So we have the one here. We got a little bit of a bend. What is that, about a 45 or so? I have a piece that's straight that we can tie it together with. So maybe we might use this piece. I can almost, if I cut this down, come here, but I'm just worried about the radius here not having enough material to clamp on. But if I'm able to twist this over a little bit, I can add a piece on here so it's straight and then maybe use this piece. So I got a little piece of hose on here to help hold. This is what I'm gonna use, this little guy, and I put a clamp on the radiator to hold it in place so it won't move. Now thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one and I laid it over, and if I come and I kind of kick this at an angle like so, I think if I put this on here, I can get it to come together. See, it pretty much lines up. That's what I'm gonna try to do. So I'm gonna shorten this up here so it's not hitting the water pump and thermostat housing. So I'm gonna cut this back a little bit. I'll take a couple inches off of it so I know this is gonna come down pretty far. So I could probably take off half of this deal. So I'll take like 3 inches down. So this is what we got so far. I think this is gonna work. So we got this tight in the lower here up against the radiator. Got the hose on here, and then we just weld this one right here. That's pretty much gonna be our lower hose. That's what we're looking at there. So now we're gonna mark it. We're gonna draw a line. We can draw a line across this so we know where it's indexed at. We can pull it out, we can take it up. Don't even have to paint it or nothing, man. It's stainless. Be done with our lower hose. Get some coolant in this thing. Let's get this thing welded. Got it welded all up here. I didn't like how it was like polished and then the weld was dulled, so I just sanded the whole thing, kind of make it uniformed. Now we can put it on. What do you think? What do you think? That'll work?
I think it looks good.
So the hose comes up to here, so we have plenty of material. Clamp on it comes all the way up to here, the edge of it. Push it in. You can feel that it's nice and flat to the radiator, so it's even here. So we'll put this clamp right here at the end.
All right, so that's our lower radiator hose. Let us know what you guys think of how it turned out. I give it a 9 out of 10. You know, you can't spend all day making a lower radiator hose, so it's really gonna get as good as we can get, and we just need to get this car done, so we're not gonna be spending all day working on it. Master Mechanic gives it a -3 out of 10 because he's a perfectionist, he's never satisfied with the work he does. I think it looks good because it's not shiny. It fits in with the intake and other stuff that's more of a matte color rather than a shiny glossy color. So we're gonna fill the coolant right now. We're gonna show you how we're gonna do that. So let's get right into it. Putting together our concoction here for our vacuum fill. We're gonna do 50-50. We've got Dexcool and distilled water. Maybe we'll go a little over 50. Maybe we do 3 gallons of water and 2 gallons of coolant. You gotta make sure you have enough, because once you start filling it, you don't want to stop. So use a bucket. You overkill the coolant. Anything left over, you can just put back in the coolant jugs. You didn't have to go to the bathroom before, man. You gotta go now. We only have a gallon each right now, so we gotta run and go get some more. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put this in a vacuum, and then we're gonna let it sit while we run to the store real quick. We got our little vacuum bleeder here. So what we're gonna do is, so this one here is gonna go into your coolant. It's got a little funnel or a little screen on it. So that's gonna go in your fresh coolant, and this is gonna be the air out of the system. So it's gonna, if you have a car with coolant in it, it spits all over the place. So you normally put it into a jug. We're gonna put this on our radiator cap. There we go. We're gonna close this before we put our hose on here, so we'll close both of them. Got our air hose here. So we got our valve closed, so it's not gonna do anything. Hook it up. Take our empty jug. And we're gonna put it in here so it doesn't flail all over the place. See, this one here is our fill. So we want that one closed right now. So now we're gonna turn the air onto it, and it's gonna put a vacuum into the system. It'll collapse all the hoses. So what I like to do is I'll stop before it gets all the way, because see, this line is all full of air. So when you go to initially fill it, it'll suck this air in. So I'll do like a purge. So I'll crack this and I'll fill this line with coolant. Okay, then once it gets up here, I get all the air out of the system, and then I'll continue to vacuum out the whole system. So I'll let it bring it down. All right, so we're maxed out now. About 27 inches of vacuum is
is where we're going to be at sea level, and we're going to shut it off there. We're going to go get a couple more gallons of water and coolant, and then we're going to wait, and then when we come back, it should still be at 20. It should stay at the same spot. It shouldn't have any leak down. So we know our system is completely sealed. Fill the whole system full of coolant, so when we fire it, we're good to go. No air pockets. Hold that thought. We'll be right back. We're going to get some more coolant. So we made it back. We got our concoction here all filled up. We got some more coolant. We're running Dexcool. It's all factory here. All distilled water and Dexcool. So I think it sat for about an hour. See, it's still holding strong. Didn't even budge. So we have no leaks. Everything's sealed tight. So now we already got our air out of the system here, or out of the hose. So now we're gonna fill it. So we're just gonna open the valve and let it rip, Tater Chip. So let's go. Just suck it in. I just want to make sure that we keep it submerged. See it going down. I would assume this thing's going to take around 4 gallons. So we should be overkill here, but then we know we're not going to get any air. So it's going to go all the way to 0. So we're chugging along here now. We got probably about 2.5 gallons in it now. We're about halfway there. Our hose, top hose here still has to come up. It's starting to now. See it opening up. Pulling all the coolant in. So it looks like we took about 2.5 gallons.
Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Exciting stuff, huh? Isn't that just the trickiest thing? You don't have to sit there and burp it, try to get the air out of it. It's all out, man. It's ready to run. So we'll let it sit a second, make sure that it'll go all the way down here a little bit more. Then we'll take it off, and then we might have to top off the coolant, the radiator a little bit. You still can get a little bit of not an air pocket. It'd be a little bit low. It's because of the style of this cooling system. It doesn't have a expansion a degas bottle. All there is air's out of the system. So we can, once we're ready to run it, now we can fire right up, man. We're going live. So that part of it's done. So we'll take this off now. I think we're pretty much there. So we'll close this guy. You see it pretty much filled up the whole radiator. So just got to top it off just a little bit.
How's that go?
Just beat me a Mustang. Column's all loose, turn the wheel, gets all crazy. We gotta get that fixed. So we're gonna put the dash in here. We gotta take this down, put the dash in it. So we can work on, take care of this rat's nest here. Yeah, we gotta evict the rats. No more rats. So we're gonna drop this column. Little ratchet right here. We drop this down and throw the dash in. Man, oh man. Got a couple wires to take care of. It's pretty much roughed in. It's got just the one little harness, so we can plug it in after it's in there. We just got to hook up our vehicle speed for our speedo, but everything else is already set up. Go, Kevin Jones did that. Thank you, Kevin Jones. And there we go. We got the dash in it.
Our Automito. Got our
Automito dash in here. I don't know if you saw these ones. I installed these ones a while ago, but now we got the full gauge set up. Now we're gonna put this column back up. Now, no more spinning the whole deal.
And this is what you guys all clicked on the video for. This is exciting stuff.
Really using my head.
Yeah, you really thought that one through.
Gotta think about it, man. Hold on. Build a car, they say. It's easy, they say. There we go. Now we can turn the wheels without the whole column moving. Got our tilt. Man, street car stuff. I don't know if you noticed, we got the shifter put in it. These 6-speeds have a little solenoid on the side here, so we took that out. It's like a stopper, hung off the side and took up a lot of room. So we took it out, put a soft plug in there, so now we can shift any gear we want whenever we want. So we got our overflow here, so now we're gonna get that installed. It's gonna be tight over here, but we'll show it to you afterwards. We're gonna go into a time lapse now, show you how we do it. Straight. Here we go. So as you can see from the time lapse, we got the overflow in here. We got one little miscalculation. We're gonna have to space it up a little bit because we got a little switch we need to put in a receiver dryer down here, and it's a little close. But other than that, worked out great. Then we went to the bottom, so it's recirculating. It's not an overflow catch can; it's a recirculating. So when it throws up, it'll go in here, and then when it cools down, it can suck it back in. If it gets really crazy, it'll come out the top. We'll dump it in the middle here so it won't get on the tires, hopefully. So that's why we set it up like that. Took care of a couple other odds and ends. We changed the zerks and the lower ball joints. Just little things. The wheels were in the way to lube them. Did that. Adjusted the hood. Look at this thing. Closes like a brand new car. Look at it. Just super easy. Still need to put the hood stops in here. Haven't put the hood stops in yet. So once we get those in there, nice and solid. And you can see we got the clutch master and everything all put in here. Got the reservoir. Still a little loose because I got to put the proportioning valve back up, but that's where it's going to mount to. And we got the clutch master on there and it all bled. The line ran down. So the clutch pedal is just a little stiff. I think Kevin kind of got a little carried away with himself. And push it down, you're going to be sitting there, and let it out, then Fiero owners are going to be upset. That's the way it's going to happen. Mustang owners, Fiero owners. So that's what we got. That's what we got underneath the hood so far. We got to change our intake here. We got to order a couple more things. We got to change the configuration a little bit. That's why the intake's not on it. But we're getting there. We're getting close. The driveline, when we had it shortened, they put the wrong U-joint on the back. So we took it back. I guess it takes a week to change the U-joint. Once we get the driveline back, put the driveline in it. We're going to check the training fluid, the rear end, to double check that, because when we built it, we only put about a quart in it and then the additive, so probably take another half a quart or so. So we'll top that off, fix that, finish that up. All right, so we worked our way now to the back of the car. We got the gas tank here. We got it all powder coated. Gonna unwrap it. We're gonna put got an A1000. We're gonna overkill our fuel pump. No starvation going on. We're gonna clean our filter. Got our nice straps powder coated. Got our mounting bolts, little retainers, and on the sender, I capped off the original line, so I welded up the end of it. And then I cut the pickup off of it and just left it pinched over because we're not using that. We added a return line in the tank, and then our breather will be on right here on the filler. Will be our vent for the tank. Might have to hold off. We can put the gas tank in it. We might have to hold off before we can install this because I gotta get a new O-ring to seal that bad boy. But I can put this in after the fact. A couple of these little dents really show up now. Didn't notice this so much before. See, we added this is the mount here for the fuel pump. Sitting just like that. Our fuel pump's gonna come out, filter, into the pump. I think I showed it before, but we got a return line right here.
If you guys seen the previous videos, you know this thing used to look like...
Hello!
Used to look like hello?
Just like it's made for it. So got it all finished up here, all mounted up. Turned out nice, man, just like it's made for it. So now that we got the fuel tank all prepped, we got our straps, we're all ready to go. So we can get the back of the car up, get a little more room in there. Jack stand it, of course, you know, be safe. And then we got our hardware, we got some NSCs on here, we got a lube, popcorn, Skittles, whatever. Watch us do it.
The gas tank's in it. Dude, I give it a 10 out of 10. And surprisingly, I could tell you the master mechanic gives it like, I don't know, what do you give it? What do you give it?
I give it a 10.
He gives it a 10. You hear that? He never gives anything a 10. So now we're gonna load this thing back on the ground, move on to the next thing. Let's go. So master mechanic, sir, what's your guess on how much this thing's gonna weigh?
This thing doesn't weigh anything. This thing is under 3,000 pounds. Under.
How many Fieros is it gonna be able to drive away from?
This thing's gonna eat Fieros for lunch. Spit out Mustangs. If you want to try, you give me a little comment, you let me know. Better get yourself a low profile jack. That brings close a whole new meaning. We made it. We made it.
Hey, look at this. We came fur circle. Fur circle. Well, now that we came full circle from the beginning of the video, before we end off, I want to look at the list and cross a couple things off. So obviously what we just did, we installed the fuel tank and pump, so we're gonna cross this bad boy off, man. It is finally out of the way. It is finally on the car. And now we can deal about putting gas in the car and getting it even more ready for the dyno tune. We did a little bit more to the wiring, nothing crazy. So I still can't cross that off yet because it's not finished. And that's about all we have right now. So next we're gonna work on more of the wiring, but we're gonna also work on doing something to the tunnel and the seat mounts on the floors, so then we can start doing everything here. So we can start doing this, we can do the exhaust, we can paint the underside of the car. So make sure to stay tuned till next video so you can see all the stuff that I just talked about going down. Please hit the subscribe button down below to stay tuned on all the videos. Hit the like button if you enjoyed seeing the progress on the car, and leave us a comment on what you're thinking, how it's going, how it looks, you know, how do you think it's turning out, how the build is all coming together. So let us know that down in the comments. See you guys on the next video.